the Nintendo Switch. You know, it's basically like every Switch or every Nintendo console, sorry, in one, where you have the touchscreen in handheld mode, which does kind of make a bit of a weird separation to where there's some games on the eShop or even just some physical games where you can only play them in handheld mode. Like one of my prime examples I always point to is like Pokemon Cafe Remix, where it's basically just a mobile game and it's on Switch, but you can only play it in handheld only, which does kind of stink. I wish there were some stick controls, because that is a really fun game to just kind of like, okay, you know what, I've had a long day at work, and you know, there's like thousands of levels in that game, so it's not anything you're gonna beat probably ever, but you know, you can go in it and just be like, all right, I'm just gonna kill some time, just kind of let my brain turn off and relax for a bit, because it is a really satisfying and fun game to play. But unfortunately, there's no stick control, so you have to play it in handheld mode. But still, going back to what I was saying, like the Switch is basically like the ultimate Nintendo console, because not only do you have every generation, or almost every generation, barring a few like Virtual Boy, for example, or you know, like for the most part, you can play every generation of Nintendo on there, whether it be through Nintendo Switch Online or through ports or remasters or remakes that they've done. But then you also have the Joy-Con, where it has like some of the camera features like you would have seen on, say, like a DS, for example, where you had the camera there. Sure, it's not exactly a camera, but it's still like an IR camera. You know, you're playing 1-2 switch, nom playing the one mini game, and then you have some of the more like gyro / motion-y controls that you can use for games like Nintendo Switch Sports or the House of the Dead remakes. And you know, obviously that leans real heavily into the Wii stuff. Does work as efficiently as something like, you know, the actual Wii mode and the IR, you know, sensor bar and all that. I would debatably say probably not, because I do find myself having to reset it. Just, you know, the fact that you have to reset it at all is enough to be like, okay, or rather recalibrate it. That's enough to be like, all right, this doesn't work necessarily as well or as fluently as the Wii, because the Wii was basically like 100% success rate, whereas the Switch Joy-Con, it's a 95% success rate, but for those times where you have to recalibrate it or kind of get things reconfigured, yeah, you know, it's one of those things where it can just throw you off for a second there. But there is still a lot of innovative Wii-like experiences, like ARMS, which is a very underrated Switch game, unfortunately, but again, considering the fact that that game did rely on a lot of more multiplayer elements, it you know, kind of makes sense why it hasn't, you know, why it isn't talked about as much nowadays. But you know, for the folks that did play it or still do play it from time to time, I mean, you know, it is still a really fun and innovative experience, harkening back to those Wii days with the motion controls. But then beyond all that, you also have more of, I want to point to like the GameCube and the Wii U generation, where they were clearly trying to, I guess, appeal to more quote-unquote hardcore gamers. Where you have, you know, just like the standard control scheme, whether that be with the Pro Controller or with the Joy-Cons. Me personally, I still gotta buy a Pro Controller. I really do want to get one at some point, because I've heard it's such an amazing controller. I haven't actually gotten to hold one yet. Like, I saw one at GameStop the other day, because they have like a kiosk there or whatever, but I didn't actually hold it, just because I don't touch controllers when I'm out in public. You know, those kiosks, bunch of kids picking their nose and yeah, no thanks, I don't want to touch those kiosks. But yeah, so I do want to get a Pro Controller at some point. But you know, the Joy-Cons work more than well enough. Like, for example, I was just playing Call of War as Gunslinger, because basically, you know, this is a real funny situation, because that game released on the 360 and PS3, and currently the most, if you want to say the most definitive or HD way to play it, would actually be on the Switch. And that's also another weird case where the physical version only comes with a code, and there's not actually a cartridge in the box, so that's just... I never understood why games did, like, why even do the physical version at that point? Like, it's cool to have the cover art, I guess, but it just defeats the purpose. Anyway, I ended up just buying it digitally, because it was on sale for like $2 or $3. I bought it a long time ago at this point, but I was finally just firing it back up, you know, because they have like a fun arcade mode that's fun to just blast through, even after you complete the story, which obviously I did back in the day. But they have an arcade mode, you can just kind of turn on, turn your brain off, shoot some stuff for a bit. And even, you know, playing an FPS like that, you know, it's real chill, but, you know, the Joy-Cons work perfectly enough for that, so definitely suitable for more of a hardcore game.